Sports. Hello, my name's Dilwyn. Today, my friends and I at Knights Brown are going to help you learn some amazing facts about our wonderful local coasts and the environment of my home, the ocean. First things first, we're going to learn about sea walls, which are the special walls that protect our coasts from erosion by the sea. Why don't we let my good friends at Nottage Primary School tell us a bit more about them?
A seawall is an enormous wall built to stop coasts from being damaged. They can be smooth, steep-faced, or curved-faced.
The job of the seawall is to protect the land and to deflect the waves from coastal erosion. Smooth surfaces defend waves' energy from the coastline.
Seawalls are made out of concrete, metal or masonry, and soft non-porous materials that cause the sea to bounce off.
That's so cool! But where else are these seawalls built?
You can find a seawall at the back of the beach. They are built by places that need protecting, such as rocks and the land.
A seawall might be built by vulnerable areas like weak rocks, sand dunes and buildings.
It is there to enable waves to break to dissipate wave energy and to bounce waves back to the sea. They help stop flooding. They also help vulnerable areas from coastal erosion.
They are very expensive, sometimes harm dunes and not very friendly to wildlife. We must think of the wildlife.
Despite the strength of a seawall, they are not animal friendly. There are special plates called sea hives that can be placed on them so wildlife can grab onto the seawall and nest on it.
That was really interesting. So now we know how important seawalls are for protecting our coastlines and local wildlife. Thank you, Nottage Primary. Now that we've learned about seawalls, let's listen to my good friends at Porthcawl Primary School, who can tell us all about sand dunes, which are the big lumps of sand that we see on our beaches. Take it away, Porthcawl Primary.
Have you been to the seaside recently? If so, you might have seen huge mounds of sand called sand dunes, but you might not know how incredibly important they are.
Sand dunes are mounds of sand with lots of species of plants and creatures, such as marram grass and the silver-studded blue butterfly. These species and more depend on sand dunes for food and shelter.
Usually sand dunes are found on the tallest levels of the beach due to the wind being high, which pushes the sand onto higher points of the beach.
You might not know that marram grasses actually help the sand dunes grow by planting their roots in the sand, helping the sand dunes to become stable.
As the plants begin to grow older and die, they release a chemical called humus, which makes the sand dunes darker.
So if you ever see a sand dune, you can now know the age and how it was made. So the darker the sand, the older it is.
Well, that's very interesting. But why are sand dunes so important for our environment then?
The reason why sand dunes are so important to our environment is because they prevent coastal erosion by absorbing the water and stop it stealing our land.
If you do visit the sand dunes, make sure you look out for a carder bee, and in the UK, you could look for a dune gentian, which is a rare flower.
It is extremely important to look after sand dunes so they can look after us. So if you visit the sand dunes one day, you can tell your family all about them.
God, that's amazing. I never realised sand could be so important. Thanks, Porthcawl Primary. Next up is Newton Primary, who are going to tell us all about climate change and the different ways that pollution affects our planet.
Fossils come from the remains of ancient plants and animals that have fallen into swamps and bogs, and millions of years of heat and pressure chemically transforms these fossils into fuels such as coal and oil.
Fossil fuels produce a lot of power when burnt. This in turn releases carbon dioxide, or CO2, into the Earth's atmosphere, which makes the greenhouse effect too strong.
The Earth's atmosphere is just like a big greenhouse. Natural greenhouse gases like CO2 trap heat and keep the planet warm.
Unfortunately, because of too much fossil fuel burning, there's now too much CO2 in the air. Our planet is starting to overheat because the greenhouse effect is too strong. Global warming is causing the ice caps, which are huge chunks of ice at the top and bottom of our planet, to melt very quickly. The sea levels are rising around the world because the ice caps are melting. This could cause cities along the coastlines such as New York, Tokyo and Mumbai to flood. If global warming continues, storms will become more frequent and more destructive.
Oh, that sounds scary. What happens if global warming keeps going?
If the sea levels get higher, our coastlines in the UK could be flooded. If the ocean gets too strong, our current coastal defences will be damaged. In some cases, the waves might get high enough to rise up over existing seawalls.
We need to act now to prevent global warming from causing huge problems for our beaches, cliffs and coastlines.
Well said, Newton Primary. It's our job to look after the environment so that we can keep my ocean home clean and tidy. Well, we're at the end now. A big thanks to my pals at Knights Brown Construction and all my wonderful friends in school who helped us learn about seawalls, sand dunes and how climate change is affecting our planet. I hope to see you all again very soon. Bye bye for now.